guys, and welcome back to another video. So I kind of want to do a real-time sketching video for today. I think it's been a little bit since I've done one where I'm talking in real time, so it'd be nice to kind of revisit that and kind of get used to it again. For today's sketching session, I think I'm going to start off with drawing my OCs first, and then we can move on to any other fandom that I would like to sketch characters from. But in terms of style, I've been wanting to use the 6B pencil again and the old beach brush and kind of doing something similar to this just because I think it's kind of fun. It's an easier way to add values as well. So let's go ahead and start off with something like this. So I'm going to switch my color to a very dark gray. It's almost black. And then we'll go ahead and change to the 6B pencil, which is kind of one of my favorite brushes to use when sketching if I'm not planning to usually add color or anything like that. So it just provides like a great texture and I think it's very easy to use. So I think I'm going to start off with my OC Sato. So I don't really have like a concrete plan on how I want to do anything for today's little sketching session. I think I still prefer sketching right now, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do some full illustrations again a little bit later though. These are going to be sketches, so I'm not going to clean them up too much, but for the most part I'm going to try my best to make sure that it doesn't look too cluttered or unrecognizable what I sketched. So I'm still going to try my best to keep it as clean as I can. But I'm going to try my best to kind of push the values where I can for the lines, if anything. And the reason why I'm choosing like a dark blackish gray color for sketching with the 6B pencil, I just think it resembles graphite a little bit more than using like the usual color I would use, which would be like a kind of desaturated, darker purple color. I feel like a lot of poses that require you to raise your arms up, it gets a little bit funky in terms of like how the shoulder is sometimes. This is gonna look correct. I think definitely this year I would like to do more studies in general. Just because I definitely think my anatomy and just like overall my fundamentals are very lacking and I'm letting them slip even further. So maybe I can do more studies so that I don't feel too lost when drawing certain things. That, and I guess whenever I do go back to drawing more finished illustrations, I definitely want to do something a little bit more ambitious because there are a few pieces that I feel like kind of fit that category. But I've been definitely getting lazy with doing backgrounds or trying to do more, I don't know, interesting compositions or poses. So Sato has pretty long hair. She usually keeps it tied up, but I don't think I made her in a pose that looks like she's tying her hair up. So hopefully this looks somewhat correct. I don't know if the arms look a little too short. I always love giving her kind of more like, almost like not exactly preppy clothes. It kind of feels that way sometimes. But I definitely love giving her like Peter Pan collared shirts. I think that's what they're called. Kind of the more the rounder ones. I just think they look super cute. Once we finish majority of the sketching for all the characters, or like all my OCs in this case, then I will add in the shadows and the shading with the old beach brush, and we can kind of pick and choose our colors and stuff. Actually, I think I'm gonna try my best to use the actual shading with the old beach brush for those. I'll just try to get these lines a little bit more defined. Give her a bangle of some sort. So as of 2024, so far, I haven't done any full illustrations. There are like, there's a couple of drawings I would like to finish up, and I don't know if it's like in the back of my brain I want to record it for a video. Maybe that's why I'm like hesitant to actually work on them, because I would like to film them. I hope that's not the case. Otherwise I'm gonna be like paralyzed from not drawing them. But maybe I will film them, just because I do have them available, and I think it'll make for a good longer session for drawing. Okay, here's Sato. I tend to draw the first person so large that I don't have any room for the rest of the OCs, so we'll see how many I can fit for today's little session. But I would like to draw Masaki and the other OC, which I do have a name picked out, but I don't know. Until I can commit to a design, then I will kind of reveal his name later. I think it took a bit for Akemi's name to get like solidified, I guess. So Masaki's not exactly short, but he's not exactly super tall compared to my other OCs. I guess I feel like this guy would slouch. So maybe the height difference won't be super drastic. His head shape in first. Or Masaki's, I guess. I should use his name. So that makes a little bit more sense who I'm referring to. A little bit larger forehead. The thing is, like, I don't know. I like making him a little bit more stern compared to Masaki. I feel like I have the urge to give him lashes. More of a back of the skull. So I feel like I should have blocked on their poses first. I'm gonna raise them up a little bit so we can get more of their outfits. I'm thinking more... I guess we could go spring-ish or like warmer weather. I feel like I want him taller. Unless we really slouch him. Let's see. So I would like them to be like they're walking. Okay, hairstyle wise, because I've only drawn him like a handful of times, it's gonna be a little rough. I've never drawn him in profile, so I'm gonna accidentally default him to Masaki's hair, so hopefully I don't do that. Maybe in this simple version I won't put the lashes. I feel like profile-wise, the hairstyle looks a little bit too similar. I'm looking at his phone. Let's see. This is what I'm talking about. I keep struggling to draw certain poses. So technically, for this guy's story, I thought it'd be cute to make him run a plant nursery. And maybe this is where he runs into Masaki. Or Masaki runs into him, I guess. I said I wouldn't clean up too much, but some things just look off when there's like some stray lines. It's this way, so if it's his right hand. quickly shade in his hair a little bit since he has darker hair. I didn't really give him a definitive age, so I don't know how to exactly what his role is gonna be, so we'll see. It's okay. We can treat these as more like warm-ups. I might switch gears and draw something else anyways. So let's go ahead and... Okay, let's give a little bit of shading. So I'm gonna stick with the old beach brush. We can kind of just start. You'll see later that this actually has a really nice kind of watercolor texture to it. It'll work out for me to hopefully shade in certain areas. Okay, so for Masaki and Friend, I'll block this in. I'll try to make this a little bit more, not dramatic shadow. Make the lighting a little bit more interesting. I'll make the lighting make sense though. Like I'll add some warmth to it so it doesn't look so funny. As long as you don't really lift up your brush, you can kind of get a nice smooth wash. But even if you overlap them, they don't do too bad. It does make it a little bit more solid rather than keeping the texture like 100% the same as the first layer. I don't think it's too bad like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and alpha lock this. And if we go ahead and use a different brush, luckily, because of how it alpha locks, it actually retains the texture. Because that wasn't a very good example, you can't really see it. But if I do this, you can see it retains the same kind of watercolor texture, which is kind of nice. A bit of this lighting, make it a little bit more intense. I think it looks pretty like this near the edges. Just brings a little bit of that warmth where kind of the light hits. I'm using kind of a lighter touch so that we can kind of keep it as a like a soft gradient, if anything. Get back that orange color and do a little bit on the face. So the hands don't make sense here, but it's okay. And I'm going to do something similar with Sato's, but I want to make hers a little bit more vibrant, I think. Let's not go too vibrant. A little bit of pink in her eyes. I think that's it for this little sketch page. I didn't sketch as much as I would have liked to for these, just because I think I was kind of struggling to kind of get into the mood of drawing while recording. But let's switch gears and oh wait, I think I wanted to finish this as well. Maybe a different one. I want to draw something more on like the softer side. So let's go back and switch to our dark gray. Back to our 6B. I'm thinking of maybe even changing the color to maybe a dark reddish brown to kind of give it that more of that warm feel. We can kind of play around with the lines after as well if we alpha lock it. So maybe I won't commit too much to whatever sketch color I want to sketch with. But let's see if we can flesh something out. Actually, what does his pants look like? I feel like it's always a weird question to ask. Let's take a look. Or something scrunched up. I think scrunched up would look cute. Let's make him look upwards. I also want to include his glasses because this is the type of person I am. He does have more sharper eyes, which I feel like sometimes when I draw him, I draw them like much more larger and round. Center his eyes a little bit. also wanted to draw like the 2nd year anniversary outfits for Alexium. I totally forgot about wanting to finish that because I was actually recording that at first and I stopped because I didn't have time to continue. Still has his earrings. Earring, which I think is super cute. His face doesn't look too derped out and flipping, so that's kind of nice. So I'm gonna clean up the face just a little bit more. So I do want this one to look a little bit more polished, technically. Okay, let's quickly do his hair so it kind of looks like him a little bit quicker. So let's figure out where the hair starts. His hair's super cute. I always love this kind of like very cozy, casual, kind of like what you would wear at home kind of look. Because even for Masaki, I always have him in a different hairstyle compared to if he's like out and about. So I have his hair like pinned as well. We'll darken things up a little bit later. You can see that even though this is thicker in general, but it is much darker than the rest of the lines. So once we start to actually like darken things up, it'll make things look a little bit more clean and clear. I like how he's still kind of round. It's so cute. Make sure that this isn't too off center. I think it's because I have his head tilted too. I draw his eyes incorrectly actually. I always put the little eyelash in the very corner. It's kind of in the middle. Not quite in the middle. It's kind of like off centered, but it's definitely not in the corner. It is kind of large though. I should have planned this in a little bit better. Bear design's so freaking cute. So cute. So the bear has heterochromia as well, which is why it's gonna look a little bit funky in terms of it looking a little half and half here. I think when the sleeve looks like it's flared out, it looks a little bit too, like, not cozy. But this being a little bit more, like, tapering inwards. I don't know, it reads a little bit more cozy and soft to me. Because I'm a sucker for people in glasses. Especially if they're like of the softer type. But I do like classy people with glasses as well. I just like, I don't know. Glasses I just think just look cute. You can add more to that afterwards. I just think it just completes his face a little bit more. I think that's why I also really like drawing Ike Eveland a lot. I want to draw Alira as well. She has a very cozy, comfy outfit as well. Mine looks so feral. Wait. How do I... I made the bear look so feral. Oh well. This cardigan. It's kind of open and long. I love the patterning on his cardigan. It's so dang cute. I want a cardigan just like this. I always love this kind of like warm, kind of tan brown color. I think it's super cute. Actually, I don't think you can see the thumb, so I might get rid of this. Okay, so I think we can proceed with shading. I just want to see this one sleeve actually. Uneven? I feel like it already is, just because of how I have this positioned. It's okay. Let's just clean up, or not clean up, spruce this up a little bit by darkening some of our lines here. So certain parts can stand out a little bit more compared to some other areas. I'm also gonna shade a little bit more as well, and it'll make it a lot easier once I have these lines in like certain areas standing out a lot more, so that when I do shading like this, it doesn't hide all my lines. Darken up and kind of get rid of any stray lines that contribute to it looking a little bit off or weird. So even though putting highlights is a fun idea, sometimes a band of shadow can also help. So for the bear, I do want to shade it in. So let's darken up some of these parts for the sleeves so that I can kind of focus a little bit more on for the thickness and the volume of the fabric rather than getting the correct value for the value of the clothing, I guess. I could just block this out like this and just fill it in as I can. We can also do this where we can use the same 6B pencil as the eraser. This way we can kind of get a little bit of a seam pants if we need to. Let's see. It is supposed to be darker than his inside kind of white turtleneck. So let's go ahead and do that first. I also need to separate his pants from shirt in general. As consistent as I can for the most part. I try my best to keep in mind also some of the places where I want to leave a little bit of lighter places for highlight. Also might help to just shrink the size of your canvas. So I don't have to whip my wrist as much. Okay, let's also shade this under part, which I probably won't touch at all after this. So I can kind of leave it very vague. So this, I don't really mind that it gets really messy, but at some point, the more I work on it, the more it does look a little bit more polished, just because it appears more finished. So hopefully with me doing some of the shading, we'll kind of create a little bit more depth and weight to the sweater. So I could have added that line or also like earlier and do that. So usually when I do shading like this, I'm always a little confused on whether or not I want to do more like cross-hatching, so going in a different direction, similar to this I guess, but in a very messy way, or do I want to keep it more consistent in going in one direction? Next up is the patterning. So the patterning is a little bit difficult. For some reason I thought the pattern was a lot more straightforward. I don't think it is, so this might be a little bit more difficult than I thought. Okay, so we can actually take the same eraser as the 6B pencil, and I'm going to scratch away the texture a little bit. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to leave these in. I think it is a little bit difficult for me to portray the little patterning fully. So I think this is actually okay. This one actually turned out pretty cute. So let's go add a little bit of warmth to the actual sketch itself, and then maybe I'll do one more. I might have to do it in the morning, because right now it's already 2:30. So I feel like I want to do one of Gaming. Genshin Impact, because I really like his character a lot so far, like design-wise. But what I can do is, one, clean up his forehead. Show that off a little bit. And then, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna alpha lock this and switch brushes to the paintbrush. So I'm gonna make this actually even darker than it already is first. And also the value, just to give it a little bit more of that kind of toasty or orange color. I'm gonna add in too many places. Like lightly tapping it onto some areas. Like I said, I don't want it like to be everywhere because it's not really necessary. Wash. Let's give it a go, and if I don't like it, we'll get rid of it. But if it looks fine, then I'll keep it. Helping all too much for what I want, unless I want to go more dramatic lighting. I don't know. So maybe I won't add it in. Actually, I think I'm just gonna leave it as is, like this. I kind of like the dull background with kind of the warm kind of colors into the line work a little bit. It's for today's session. I might squeeze in one more so that this could be a longer session for people to sketch with. So maybe tomorrow we'll draw Gaming. If not, I'll draw Gaveland probably. Okay, so now it's the next, I guess, afternoon. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into my Genshin folder. I see how many whips and stuff that I have in here that are not finished. We'll use the dark gray and we'll change it as we need, but I think this is what we're gonna do. And I think we're gonna draw Gaming. So let's go ahead and do that first. I do apologize that there's more glare because it's more sunny in my room right now. So I looked up lion dance poses just because I don't want to draw this too incorrectly. I want to do more like, not exactly side view, but this way maybe. Let me pull up a reference of our boy. Oh, in the reference he's like that, so maybe we'll go back to forward facing. This is why it's so good to draw like general to specific, so this way you can kind of plan your entire composition. So maybe I'll put back this hand. Should bring my mic closer. I realize like I'm getting farther and farther away from my iPad. See, I don't know if I like this. It just brings this one down more. Let's stick with this. I feel like this pose is very unnatural, but it will have to do until we can flesh things out a little bit. So let's start with his face and we'll kind of move around a little bit. So you might have to move his head a little bit more down. And a mouth, so I might clean this up just a smidge for his face. He has air vents for his hair, so we can definitely put those in. See how this goes. I might shift this as well. Okay, so clothing wise, he does have like a hoodie. Just gonna cover up a good portion of his hair. So sometimes when I draw like this, I feel like the hair becomes really flat until I actually start shading it. And the sleeves and the cuffs for his hands and arms. I also might shrink down his hair and head a little bit. So you can see the mane from the back of it, which I'm gonna have to keep in mind when I'm doing my darker lines a little bit later. So I'll just kind of darken and kind of make these lines a little bit more clear. So his eyes, I'm just gonna do it as I normally do. So make the pupil, get the highlight in. Then, I like to darken up like the upper portion of the eye, but I like to give a little bit of a outline at the very top to give a little bit of that shine. See how fangs? I feel like he'd be the type to have fangs. Or like the little canines, I guess. For the most part, I don't think I have much to say during this portion. I'm gonna try my best to get these darker areas done. Little air vents. So the air vents, I'm gonna keep calling them air vents. I know they're not, or hair vents. But whenever I do like traditional work, especially with like graphite, this is like one of my favorites things to do. I guess technically, if you think about it, I think Albedo and Gaming are the only ones who have like the half updo. Yes, I think. In terms of the dudes. So this is technically all black, so I wouldn't mind shading it in. I guess that's what I did for the other one, the one of my OC. I could do this. Yeah, nothing will ever beat the feeling of using like pencil and paper for me. It's not only that, usually when I shade stuff like this, it kind of hides some of my other sketchier lines. So it makes things look, at least appear a little bit more clean. My leg's like falling asleep. How do you guys sit in your chairs, by the way? I feel like it's a really weird question to ask. Because I know me and my, one of my friends, we always sit either like with one leg up or like cross-legged or almost like a gremlin or both knees up. The problem with rendering like this sometimes, I feel like everything's like rendered at the same level that it might look too busy. Okay, so it's not even the evening. It's like literally 5 minutes before midnight. I don't want to finish this one. I don't know if it's because I don't really like his face. I think this is really cute in general, so maybe we'll come back to it. But I want to do something a little bit more simple, but also including more of the full body, because I don't think, at least when I was editing the footage, I didn't really get to utilize this kind of method all that much with the one of Gaming. So I kind of want to just switch gears, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and draw Ike Eveland, and we'll do maybe just a quick spread of him so we can actually do some of that other, why is my lighting so weird looking? I'll fix my lighting a bit later, but basically, I want to utilize that coloring method a little bit more because I think it's a fun way to add shadow and light and a little bit of warmth or color that you want to use for the character. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'll try to fix this lighting situation. I'm looking a little funky here. I have like a general idea of what I kind of want to draw for this one. But like I said, I kind of want to be able to utilize the old beach brush alongside with the 6B pencil. I think maybe, I'm hoping in the near future I can get back into streaming again. So maybe for the Ga Ming piece, I will do that for a stream. Sometimes, like, even though I would like to erase less when I'm doing these kinds of sketches, so I can actually really think about keeping my sketches really light and making my marks, like, initially a little bit more intentional. There's just some areas I can't avoid. The problem with this is that I will always draw the first one too large. I think I mentioned the same thing when I drew Sato earlier. Just a cute novelist. I mentioned this before as well, I think. There's so many things I want to draw and like fully finish. Ike Eveland's like second outfit is definitely one of them as well. I definitely have like a lot of default ways that I draw hair. I do this like quite a bit, especially if they have like bangs that kind of flow off of the face a little bit more. I'm looking at a reference of his outfit and just like his hair and design like overall. Usually if I draw a character or like a design like over and over again, then usually I will remember. For something like this, but if I haven't drawn the character in a while, then I'm definitely gonna forget, so it's kind of the case here. I always feel like I draw these too large. I'm always used to drawing ones like Venti's or like, who else has like such a large hat? I'll leave some of the songs that I've been listening to. It's like 2 songs probably, because I'm the type who likes to repeat songs and kind of zone out. I'll leave it in the description if you guys want to listen to whatever I was listening to as well. So I feel like if I draw it more like this, it actually looks like he's kind of looking at it a little bit more. He's a little cross-eyed, but it's okay. I swear Ike's mama, or like the artist for his model, freaking design genius. I absolutely love his design so much, like his original design, and I love how some of the elements remain the same for his outfit. Darken up the eyes a little bit here, not too much. I don't want these to be too distracting, and there's already like a lot of stuff going on. More of a simple one. I feel like the simple ones work really well with kind of the shading. what I want to do is very simple, almost like a bouquet. I really want to look into more like how people do flower arrangements. Sounds very simple. I feel like sometimes whenever I do sketching sessions like this is kind of when my brain kind of just turns off and all I want to do is just sketch. So I feel like I turn more silent. I kind of want a little bit of like wind. I'm trying to think. I could have the hat just flowing away. Sometimes I like my more simple sketches. I think when I, like, of the ones I showed earlier, the one that Masaki's like kind of crouching with the two sparklers going like, yeah, New Year's. I think that one's my favorite out of the ones that I did of those ones. But that was one thing I wanted to talk about too. Hopefully in the next coming week or so, I want to get back into streaming again. I don't know if I'm going to move back to Twitch or I'm going to stay on YouTube. We'll see. I feel like VODs are easier on YouTube though. Also might scribble in some shading for this. Yeah, I think no glasses for this one. So I don't know, can I fit one more into this? Could do a derp one down here too. Let me see. Just throw down a head and see where it'll take me. I made banana bread earlier today. I've never made one with Greek yogurt before. It turned out really moist, but it turned out really well. Do it like this is why sometimes throwing down like random lines and stuff works out. Glasses. Okay. I think kind of have to do for this one. Okay, we'll do a super simple one here. Like a chibi or something. Let's see. Quick. I miss drawing like super derpy looking chibis like this. Let's see. I want to give him his hat. There. Just the boy and his pen. I forget the shapes on his hat. I guess that'd be the same on his lapel before. Which means his other hand should be here. I'll do it like that, so you can have some maybe interesting lighting here. Okay, so new layer. I'm gonna put this underneath my sketch. We're gonna go ahead and open up Old Beach. Choose. Yeah, I think we'll stick to something like this. I'm gonna start with this one actually. Basically, we can just start to shade everything, and wherever I don't add any shadow is basically going to be where our highlights are. I love doing this mostly for like clothing folds, I think. I'll just leave it like that. I don't know how I'm gonna actually fix that one up. This one, we have our hat. I want the lighting to probably be on this side. It's coming from the top left. Which makes it a little bit easier for me to figure out where to place. So I'm gonna actually change the color of everything afterwards. We'll just alpha lock it. So make it a little bit easier. More light on here. Then we can work on this larger one, which I am going to keep the lighting kind of consistent. Keeping this side all this on the darker side. Add a highlight here. Yeah, so now we have this set to gray. I'm going to alpha lock it. What I showed you guys earlier is that if I were to choose a different color on top, the texture remains, which is kind of nice. So I want the shadows to be a little bit on the cooler side. I'm gonna change it. Actually, I kind of like the neutral. I'm gonna add a little bit of the blue into some of the shadow area. That's probably what I'm gonna do. And then my favorite part is adding a little bit of warmth. So let's find a color that I think will fit well. Can adjust this a little bit, and I like doing this kind of as a little outline, kind of like of warmth around where the brightest edges are. Might even make the overall like wash of everything to be a lot lighter. Maybe that's why I didn't really like the ones that I did of Sato and Masaki and the no-named OC. It's a little less intense now, so I can be not as light-handed anymore. Yeah, I think this always looks really cute, kind of adding it in this kind of way, and you can kind of see like the warmth of the light in this way. I think turns out kind of pretty. I think it'll be also very pretty if you did it with more like dappled or like the... I guess that would kind of be like komorebi lighting. Yeah, I actually don't mind how dark it is. I think it actually turned out pretty okay. I might add a little bit more warmth to the flowers here though. I think this is a better application of the lighting that I wanted to do compared to the one I did of Sato, Masaki, and the other OC. But I think that's it for today's little sketching session. It might be a longer-ish video because I would like you guys to also be able to draw along without having to rush. But I'll show you guys really quickly the time-lapse. This one first. I feel like if you have like a favorite brush to sketch with and a favorite brush to color with, it's kind of nice to find a combination that works well together. So that's the last one I did. I'll show you guys the one of Gaming as well. One last time. Like I said, eventually I think I will finish this at some point, or I will use it for a finished piece another time. I'll just reference this one because I do like the positioning of this. But I probably want to maybe make his face closer or something because the balance is a little bit off. So that's the one of Gaming. Then we had, oh, I forgot the one of Albin. I actually really like this one a lot. I kind of wish I planned out the bear better though, because his body gets lost and probably crushed between Albin's chest and knees. And this one turned out really cute. Played around with a lot of background options before just leaving it as a simple border. After that, or before that, was this one. So I'm not really liking the one of Sato, so I'm going to actually change hers. Warmer, more neutral gray, and we can go and do the thing I did before. Just kind of warming up areas that are kind of getting touched by the light. Yeah, I think that one looks a little bit better than that weird kind of blue and pink combination I had earlier. And that's basically it. So let me know what you guys ended up drawing for today's session, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching me do a few different sketching sessions today, and I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye!